Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another Boilon boosted account video. I realized as I was saying that, it was just like, is it a new video still? I mean, it still is, I guess, because the account's like 3 months old, but like the closer I get to 100, I'm just like starting to wonder at what point this intersects with my main account. But in today's video, I do want to talk about some things that are really going to help people that are basically not in the top 1 to 2% of players. And this is people who I think are still within that anywhere from new players all the way up to gear tier 18 kind of types of players where you're going to save millions and millions of gold from some strategies that I've been doing, especially since the last couple of days when they changed things over. And also, there's been a huge revamp in the raid store. So I really want to talk about some of these things and how that's going to benefit you. So if you're ready to go, also, we're going to do an update of my roster as well while we're here. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this out. I think we'll just start with the roster update first. I think this makes the most sense before I forget. I have this bad habit of forgetting certain things that I wanted to talk about in the video. And I want to tell people what I've been doing with my account in the last week or two. I don't know how long it's been since I did an update video actually for this account. But anyways, I've largely been focusing on Spider Society and making sure that they're at all gear tier 17, which I think I just did. So they're all at gear tier 17 level 90. You can see that my account is level 93 right now. And the reason why I kind of push these guys forward a bit more is because of the spotlight raid. So this is working for me at D0 spotlight raids. We did try D1 and it was a bit challenging for my alt account. Now, I do want to say that I don't have Stark Tech finished. And that's a big problem and something that I'm going to address at a later point. I'm wondering whether or not I'll get to level 100 and my Stark Tech is still not finished because I'm at like 23% on mutant, but the rest of mine are kind of sitting around like the 15% range. So there's still a lot of work to do on Stark Tech for my account here. But I managed to get G1790 for all my Spider Society, and I maxed out Old Man Logan because he's just insane. So if you have him, make sure that you do this because you won't regret it. And he's absolutely bonkers. So that's what I've done over the last week and a half or so, or whenever my last update video was. At this point, I mean, I can probably get rid of Cyclops. Some of these characters on the hearts list, I'm kind of playing around with. Wolverine and Sunfire for Alpha Flight because I do want to have that as I'm probably going to start doing this pretty soon. I'm just more curious whether or not that Sunfire and Wolverine are going to see tokens like they were supposed to in their showcase event, which I'm not entirely sure still. And then Bifrost, I'm still on the fence for. Dawkin and Pandapool, I am not upgrading. I am not upgrading them on my main account either. So I'm basically skipping Mercs for Money in favor of upgrading Alpha Flight instead for both accounts because I think both for Spotlight, mainly for Spotlight raids, is going to be very important to make progress there and being able to push into that 70% mark for any difficulty really when we start getting there. So I think that's going to be a high priority. But otherwise, as you can see with the rest of my roster, and I've mentioned this before in previous videos, raid. Raid characters are like the #1 priority in Marvel Strike Force in the early and mid game, and frankly in the end game as well, because I do prioritize these characters over almost everyone else when it comes to my main roster on my main account. So both here and over there, I'm doing more or less the same thing. So you can see that my largest characters are actually my Extreme X-Men because they're just so powerful anywhere that you can use them. There are some raid characters that kind of like fallen by the wayside a little bit because I'm not actively using them currently in Incursion 1, which is what we're raiding right now. And that's Pegasus because the way that the raid lanes go is a mutant, bio, skill, Mystic Tech. I think it goes that way. So I'm not actually having to use my Pegasus anymore. And that's why Bifrost, if I want to get into 2 or First Strike 2, I'm gonna have to build them probably, and I'm just very resistant and reluctant to do this. But I have put a lot of resources into Hive Mind, Extreme X-Men, and Spider Society, of course, as you saw. And then I did upgrade my Cabal. This might have been newer. I did this because of Pocket Dimension. So I did manage to clear this. I did get them to 80 G15. So that's something that I did as well. And otherwise, I'm slowly working towards making my way towards Dark Dimension 6, which I'm going to be using Spider Society for City, Extreme X-Men and Black Knight for Global, and then some hodgepodge of Cosmic. Probably the characters that I have upgraded right now, I think is what my plan is. So Kestrel, Void Knight, Eternals, and Vol, I think are my main priorities for Cosmic. And then for Legendaries, since we're talking about the rest of it, might as well. I have Old Man Logan now, so that's going to be a huge help, actually. And he's probably going to solo it. But we're going to be doing Old Man Logan, Black Cat, Morgan Le Fay, Doc Ock, and Green Goblin Classic. That's my current plans because I don't think there's going to be another legendary character. And they haven't made adjustments to the Nova trial. So fuck Nova. I'm not going to bother doing that. The trials is ridiculous, and I don't have a high enough Kang to solo the event for a 3-star, and I don't think it's that worth it. I'm not a big fan of Nova anyway, so I'm just going to go for Morgan Le Fay, who I do have at 7 yellow, so that's fine there. That's my Dark Dimension plans and the current state of my roster. Now, what was I talking about with relations to gold? Well, first to understand that, we need to understand what the changes to alliance raids were. And it was the whole purple and green keys and all that. Purple raids, green raids, that kind of stuff. And you might have noticed, depending on what, this is green raids. I get them so confused. Anyways, this is green raids, which is the gear-based raids, right? And so you may have noticed that they did the changeover in terms of the rewards. But you may have also noticed that you're also getting a shit ton of raid credits on a daily basis. Like 37,000 for Incursion 1. I believe it starts jumping dramatically when you get into the Doom raids. I want to check that out really quick. I believe it's Doom. I want to say Doom 2 is where it jumps dramatically. No, maybe it's Doom 3. So it's about 10,000. So you don't get as much in Doom 2. I think it's Doom 3. It jumps like super high. Yeah, so like 30, you basically get 37,000 from Doom 3 onwards. So Doom 3, Incursion 1, that kind of thing. And you can do Doom 3 at like the G14, 15 level. Probably 14 actually, Doom 3.0, if you're using the proper new raid teams. And so that's when you start getting a crap ton of raid credits. Now that also stacks with, of course, stuff that you might get from the Greek raids as well. Greek/Spotlight raids, an extra 6,000 there. So that's like 40 something thousand a day, which is way more raid credits than you ever got before. And now you can do something a lot different with them. And when it comes to saving millions of gold, I'm not saying you're going to get millions of gold. I'm saying that you're going to save yourself millions of gold that you might have otherwise spent before this moment. Now, we need to talk about, when it comes to this, we need to talk about where that's coming from. And you might see like the cost of things in the supply store, right? So G18 minis now, they did reduce the cost actually, but it's still pretty expensive. So for basically 100k gold a piece, you can get a G18 mini. Okay, you're gonna need a lot of those. G17 minis is 50k a piece, and then uniques are 125k a piece. Now, instead of buying this, unless the ones that I would buy is probably things like osmium. Maybe that's probably the only thing I would buy, because you just need so many good characters with osmium. You need Vol, you need Nightcrawler, you need Gambit. And there might be someone else that I'm thinking of as well. I know it depends on, but those are the three main ones. And going through all the teal, 16, 17, and 18 for all three of the characters, it does take quite a bit. So if you want to push that a little bit faster, you can still do that with the supply store. But in terms of the other minis, including G17s and 18s, I would not spend your gold. It's still a fair bit of gold, despite the decrease in cost. And so what the alternative is instead is the raid store, because you're getting so many raid credits and there's so many things that you can do with this. First of all, let's talk about non-gear related, but if you do want to just kind of buy raid characters, you can do this significantly cheaper. You can buy 10 raid orbs for 9,000 credits, and that's like you could buy like 40 to 50 raid orbs every single day, which is a shit ton of shards. So if there's any characters that you don't have 7 that you want at 7, then you know, depending on who that is, Craven, they're not raid characters. Actually, most of these are not raid characters, but Icarus, Miss Marvel Hardlight, Craven, those are the main ones. Vulture for Sinister Six. That's probably what I would say are the main characters. In Cyclops, but if you have Old Man Logan, I would stop building Cyclops. If you checked out my other video, Cyclops is pretty useless now if you have him instead. But other things that you can buy, which are really underrated, honestly, are the teal raid orbs. Both the teal gear raid orbs and all of the other tiers. So for tier 16, or the regular ones, you can buy them for 4,200 raid piece. I don't know if I'd necessarily buy these ones, because it's mostly like an origin gear orb. That's not something that I would typically do. But the teal elite orb, now if you're in the G17 stage, you're getting, that's a lot. 40 G16 minis and 20 G17 minis. So what did I say? That's like 50k a piece, right? I don't remember the cost of the G16s, but just for the 17s, that's 50k. Why did I do that? 50,000 times 20. That's 1,000,000 gold plus this. Like, I don't know what that's worth anymore. 20,000 maybe. And so like 40 times 20,000. I don't know if it's that much, but you're getting like almost 2 million gold for one of these orbs. So that's the reason why you should not buy any of these from the store. And this costs 15,000. So I could buy like 3 of these per day, which is like what was that? Like 4 to 6 million gold that I'm saving on the G17 orb if I were to open this, if I needed to open this. Now, specifically where I think that people should be opening probably is the teal epic orb. And this is something that I've recommended to my boosted alliance, and this is something I'm recommending to you guys. So if you're in that sort of stage where you're kind of working towards Dark Dimension 6, 20,000 is actually not as steep as it would suggest, because the amount of value that you're getting out of this is just crazy. They changed this also that when you're doing this from the raids, you actually need 20,000 fragments to open these orbs now. The reason why they made this change was mainly because the open all orbs button is not coming. So they wanted to make this quicker for people to open, especially at the top end of raids, I guess, as well, so that they didn't have to sit there, mass opening. So now you can open like one orb and you get like 10 times worth of stuff. And so in terms of what you get 20 G18 minis. Keep in mind, those are 100K a piece, right? So this alone is 2 million that you're getting. The only problem is that it's bulk, so you're getting like 20 of one, whereas before you got like 2 of one or whatever it was before, and you could get a mixture of stuff. Now it's like when you get a drop, it's like 20 of a single piece. So it's not as diverse, I suppose, is the only big problem. And then you get over here, you can get some origin gear pieces. Now, this is a little bit of a shame because the teal elite orb or whatever, the G17 orb, did give G16s on the side, whereas this is just origin gear. So this doesn't have as much value. But the right, no, it's also origin gear. So you're still getting over 2 million per orb though, and you can open 2 million gold worth of G18s per orb. And if you're doing both the Spotlight raid and Doom 3 or above, you're getting 40,000 plus raid credits a day, right? So that's at least 2 of these orbs per day. And I'm just going to open one just to show you, right? And so this is 2 million gold right here. This is, don't buy Catalyst. So I don't really put a value on this necessarily, this stuff here. But that is 2 million gold for the minis. And that's exactly why you shouldn't buy them in the store, because you're eventually going to get like 4 million. If you're just buying these orbs, you're going to be getting about 4 million gold worth of G18 minis a day. And that's going to save you a significant amount of money. It's going to save you a significant amount of time. Now, of course, what else you can do with the raid credits as well is that you can buy stuff directly, right? And you're going to get significant value of this. So if you are really, really struggling and you're really hurting on Teal Origin, that's fine, right? Like you can buy it this way if you really want. You could do it. There's enough raid credits, especially if you're getting 40,000 a day. And where I would put it towards, though, is the unique. So I did buy some osmium in the last refresh, and same with the alien sports. This is where I would buy most of your uniques from, because you're getting 4 for 5,000. And in terms of the gold value, that's, well, 2 is 250. So you're getting 500,000 gold every time you purchase this. Or to put it in other terms, it's like 100K per 1,000 credits, I think, if that makes sense in terms of a conversion rate there. And so you're getting significant value because you're getting so many raid credits every single day. And so just buy, the uniques that you need. Buy it out of here. And there's so many rows. The accessibility has improved drastically. And for other players that are outside of the teal, I would also extend this to orange as well. So there's tons of great value. I wouldn't buy the orbs because I don't think you need to do that. But if there's certain uniques particularly, that's what I would do, because that might be something that you still need. So things like orange uniques, you can buy 10 for 3,000. That's a lot. That's a really good deal. So if you still need to do that for certain ones, I would definitely do that. Maybe osmium as well. I don't know. Maybe some people are still hurting on that. And so that's what I would do there. Crazy new player value here in the raid store. They made a significant crazy boost to this, and honestly, it's some of the best stuff that you could get in here now. It is the best store in Marvel Strike Force, and significant value. And I would not, unless you're super desperate for certain uniques, I would not buy anything anymore, because trust me, it is going to come. And especially since the rework to the raid credits, you are going to get a lot of raid credits every single day where you can buy them in the raid store instead of your gold, which is a lot more valuable, in my opinion, for doing things like leveling. Or even just upgrading ranks, star rank. Trust me, you'll always need gold, and so it's better to probably not buy teal gear, especially. Save it. You might be able to buy some red gear, if you really want to. At least that's better value in terms of stuff instead of the teal gear. Do not buy teal gear anymore. You don't need to. And the final thing that I want to say before we end the video is, was that everything? I think that was everything. You know what? That might actually be everything. That is everything. I'm gonna end things there. I mean, I'm slowly working my way towards level 95 and then getting ready for Dark Dimension 6. So that's my current plans. And I think probably the next time I'll do an update on this account, I think. So that might be about another 2 weeks out. We'll see how fast I end up getting XP. Actually, it could take me like 10 days just to get level 94. So we'll see. But otherwise, working my way, night 13 in Arena, that's great. And I'm having a blast still on this account. So that's the end of this video. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone. And until next time, stay safe and healthy. I'll see y'all later. Oh, yeah, before we sign out, let me know in the comments down below. For those of you who are in that new player bracket, maybe around the level that my account's at, let me know if there's something that you want to hear from me. You know, maybe I'll do another video if there's specific things to talk about that you feel that I haven't addressed in any of these in the series. So now that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.